Hello world, welcome to some lore and mod ramblings for Fallout 4. I've been watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and if you're not familiar with the show, it is a comedy set in 1958 about a woman called Midge Maisel, who is an upper middle class housewife with 2 children's perfect life right up until her husband leaves her. And then she stumbles into the world of stand-up comedy, and much hilarity ensues. But there is quite a bit of sexism because it's 1958. That made me think about the Fallout world. I don't remember any specific lore talking about the equality between men and women, but there are certain things that did not happen in the Fallout world that would have been important to changing the status quo. I mean, I know they kept the style of the 50s-ish era, but did they keep a lot of the other less fabulous traits of the 50s, even in 2077? Because it really did seem like women, they had the vibe to me that pre-war America, women were still mostly at home having babies. And a lot agree that Nora has really only says to a potential husband that, hey, your children not going to be dumb. I have this degree to prove that I'm at least smart enough to get through college, even if I'm never going to actually do the thing that this piece of paper says on it. But hey, your kids won't be dumb. On the other hand, it seems kind of silly for the housewife to even exist, because what would they do? If you have a Miss Nanny or a Mr. Handy, what do you do as a housewife? You just sit around, get liquored up, and watch daytime TV all day? I mean, that sounds really depressing, so I don't know. It does seem like a lot of the iconic or prominent people in the Fallout history are men, and it sadly didn't really seem to change in the Commonwealth in 2277 since, well, the number of women in charge of vanilla factions is Desdemona, which is a whole lot of 1. Although I guess you can't argue that if you pick a female protagonist, then there's at least 2 factions that have a woman in charge. Although I would not be surprised that if the Fallout 4 canon will be that the sole survivor was a man. But that would have quite a bit of impact to Nora's story. I mean, think about it. 2077, she's a housewife. She takes care of babies. Well, or she watches her butler take care of babies, and she doesn't really have a whole lot going in her life. 2277, she just watched someone murder her husband and steal her baby. She's not going to be waiting for anyone to do anything. She could do whatever she wants herself. And if she wants to go shoot someone in the face for killing her husband, she could do that. If she wants to be the leader of a faction, she could probably do that. And it kind of changes her life significantly, because before it was like, there's not much for you to do, and then suddenly there's everything for you to do. She could indulge in her secret bloodlust side that she never knew she had because she was too busy getting drunk and watching TV, because what does a housewife do? Not a whole lot. Not in 2077, not with robot butlers and robot nannies doing all that shit for you. I don't know what happened with the last NVIDIA update, but wow, recording things looks like hot garbage now with all the micro stuttering. To say it's terrible is an understatement. I can barely stand playing when I'm trying to record, let alone someone else trying to see that. I've been trying to fool around with Afterburner, which I haven't used in like eternity, and totally forgot how to set up, and then didn't really pay attention to the settings I had, and tried to record something that looked super, super pixelated because the settings were freaking super low. So let's talk about some mods. Since the Fallout 4 load order guide and whatever else blah 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 by, who is it by? Byrate Beck got updated. Basically been following that, which means I finally got around to downloading that whole texture gobbledygook and putting that in there and dropping a bunch of textures I had before, except for a few. I still prefer the Blue Minuteman looking outfit, and there's another one that I really liked. It's I want to say it's called Mankind Redefined. It's a work in progress. It's never going to be touched again, probably. But it was a work in progress retexture of the synth uniform. It's not a big change. It just adds a little bit more dark colors, and I like it. And I there's no way I could use the base vanilla stuff. It's just, there's too much white. It needs some other colors, even if it's just black or gray, to break it up, and that's what the Mankind Redefined Uniform Retexture does. Another thing, I'm going to be dropping the Zombie Walkers mod. It seems to be some sort of, I don't know if it's a conflict with SKK Open World or another mod, but I don't want to figure it out. In the last video, and maybe if you were paying attention or not, in Nuka World, I was running around. It's like a level 30 character, so not terribly high level. Like all the ghouls that were spawned by the SKK Open World that replaced the regular people, they were all running away from me, which is really weird. But when I drop Zombie Walkers, they don't do that anymore. They don't run away, so they all come after me all at once. The Open World, SKK Open World, seems to add quite a few ghouls by itself. I'm not sure when it was added, but there's the option to make griefers that you could be synths or ghouls now. So that's a nice added bonus. So there's not going to be any shortage of ghouls everywhere anyway. I think I did a little bit of editing to the ghouls to get rid of this stupid lunge attack. It's so obnoxious. I hate that one. And I think I changed the speed so that some of them are faster and some of them are slower. I'm not really sure if it does anything, but I changed the values somewhere. I didn't get rid of that stupid dodging shit that they do. I mean, that looks like it'd be hard to do as a regular person. Like, forget being a ghoul that's partially decomposing. I don't know how. It looked dumb, and I hate that, and I haven't figured out how to turn it off yet, because I'm not really sure what the thing setting for it is. Probably could just find another mod, and that would help me out, but... One thing that's really been getting on my last nerve is the stupid grass in Fallout 4. Maybe I'm just spoiled because Skyrim has so many nice grass mods. Like, any grass mod you install looks beautiful. And then there's the grass in Fallout. I've actually narrowed it down. It seems like there's a couple grass mods. Like, mesh itself just looks awful, and I've gotten rid of it. And I think the grass looks a lot better. I overused, probably, the shrubby grass meshes that you can get in the Fallout 4 seasons. Made use of that a lot. Turned off and got rid of all the nasty dry grass, which is the one, it's the mesh. It looks just terrible. I hate it. I mean, you could bump up the density of the grass a lot to mask it, but it'll still be there. There's another thing that I thought was weird with the way the grass spawns. It probably doesn't help it look nice, but you know how, like, in an artificial forest, all the trees will be in a row? The grass will spawn like that in places too. It'll just be like these little clumps in a perfect little row, and it looks so horrible. I hate it. And it's usually that stupid dry grass that does it. I don't know. I haven't bothered looking to see if anyone has mesh replacements for that particular grass. I just, zero, it's not going to spawn anywhere. I just remove it from, the grass spawning lists for the land and everything. I also went and put some of the DLC grass in places, because Far Harbor has some pine forest grass. I don't really know what it looks like offhand. I didn't look at the meshes. I just kind of was like, I'll just shove this in here and maybe it'll look alright. I don't know. And Nuke World has some, I think it's hill grass and valley grass is what it's called. I shoved that in some places too because I don't know, why not? And I used enhanced grass is what I used as the basis. It looks alright so far. For Skyrim mods, when they go into there's like a setting inside the ESP files, the mod itself, that people bump up the density like really high. And I was trying to do something like that. And then of course you set in the INI files, there's another setting that is like the minimum grass, which you could change that to. So I bumped mine up to 80 and then just made the density really high for some stuff. Not for everything. Some of the densities is lower. I didn't go all the way up to 255. Some of them I bumped up to like around 100 or 75 or something, like significantly higher than the base game. I think it looks alright so far. I might fiddle around with it a little bit more, but it's so much nicer than that terrible, terrible dry grass. I know I've like ranted on for like 10 minutes or something about it, but it really, really bugged the shit out of me how horrible the grass is. And it's just bad enough that I was tempted to just say, let's just not spawn grass ever. That's kind of the advantage of a winter mod. You could just literally spawn none of the grass. Just like completely turn it off. And it's like an INI setting, so it's pretty easy to do. You just set it to 0. I don't think I really have anything else to say about mods. Been fiddling with some stuff. Oh, in the video, the new mod that came out called Warlike. It seems interesting. It did have originally some horrible performance issues, but it seems to be alright now, except for at the end of... Because it also has turf wars. It's called Warlike with turf wars. I was in the middle of a turf war and it ended. The frame rate absolutely tanked down to like 5 frames per second, which is kind of weird. It went back up to, whatever it was while I was recording. And then I got killed by a death claw that I didn't even see because I was trying to kill something else. Whoopsie daisy.